No idea. He had such poor taste in that album.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Taste Like Music. Jason, Joe, and Kramzer here. Songs of the Year series rolling on. We are all the way up to 2014 now. Saw a pretty decent year in 2013 on the charts, and I think immediately following that, we're already starting the backslide again. A year that's not quite as good as the previous, and a lot of really bad songs competing for worst of the year on the charts. But you know, there's, as always, really good stuff on the wildcard side. Lots to choose from for me. How you guys feeling about it?
Yeah, I thought 13 was loaded with albums and songs, but for some reason I had even more. Like, I think 13 is better for albums than 14, but the song choices here were tough. I had a lot of songs here.
2014, I love it. I think it's a great year. It is the year I got back into music. Phenomenal across the board. Really hard to pick songs. It was hard for albums. I have 3 5-star albums from this year, which basically unheard of. So I'm a big 2014 fan. Yes, music is good again, thank God.
That's shocking. I was ready for worst year for music history part 7 from Joe, but didn't get it.
No, solid year.
Also, I'd like to start. I'm probably mathematically eliminated given the beginning of this episode. Is that correct?
What's
Pretty
math?
close. Pretty close, yeah. If you're new here, what we do, we make 2 lists each. The first one is all of our favorite songs that charted. The second one is wildcard selections that did not have to chart. We use the Billboard Hot 100 for determining the lists. We save our favorite of the year for the very end of the video. And before we select our winner, we also make a choice for our least favorite top 40 song of the year. Before I get into it, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so, but let's jump in. Hot 100 for me, I've got Shut Up and Dance, Walk the Moon. I'm not even really sure how much I like it, but it is really irresistible. Every time I hear it, I catch myself kind of like tapping along or mouthing along. I think it's a pretty perfect song in its like pop construction. It's really just built to make you sing along, and I think it works really well for that. It's a fine song. Then a song that I will 100% guarantee is on Kramzer's Billboard list. I've got Boom Clap by Charli XCX. Not too much to this one, but the chorus is just massive, and it's just too good to not fall under its spell. Just really catchy pop song. Then I've got Cool Kids by Echo Smith. Kind of reminds me of like the pop rock of the early 2000s, your Michelle Branches and whatnot. It seems a little out of place in 2014, but it's really catchy, really well produced. And I think it made it all the way up to number 13 on the charts, like a full year after it came out, kind of a sleeper hit. Next, I'm going to go with Stolen Dance by Milky Chance. Kind of another unlikely hit, a song from a German duo. Again, really sparse. It's got this pretty cool guitar groove thing happening, really simple drum beat. I like the laid back groove. I think the vocals are very distinct as well, which is pretty cool. And then my easy favorite song, charting song of the year, is Style by Taylor Swift. Just a synth pop banger from the former country singer Max Martin Shellback produced. When she gets to the Just Take Me Home part, when she kind of goes higher, it's so good. The pulsing synths are relentless. Just a perfect pop song.
Well, I'll lead with my in presidential debate style. You referenced me in your argument, and you are correct. I have Boom Clap by Charli XCX. I just love it. I think it's like this perfect bubblegum, cutesy, big anthem stadium pop. And yeah, that chorus is just so infectious. She sounds really kind of girly and cool, and it's a great hook. I also have Happy by Pharrell Williams. It's just kind of, I see like piggybacking off of like the CeeLo Green kind of like movement of getting like this kind of soul R&B kick into pop from a couple years ago and riding it. And it's just the way he holds the word happy throughout the chorus is just perfect. It really brings everything together. You're almost getting like, obviously not as good, but kind of like attention to detail with pop kind of tendencies from the 60s into like this kind of song. Then this one's probably going to surprise. I've got Meghan Trainor with All About That Bass. Not really a song that you would guess that I like, but there's something about her saying all about that bass. Bass, no treble. Like, it's just so cool to me and just so simple. I dig it. I can't lie. I also have Chandelier by Sia because I think the vocal performance is absolutely tremendous. And I love how it lifts and lifts and lifts. And you feel like when you're listening to that chorus and that hook getting lifted into it, you're like on a chandelier in like a big party room, like in a really glamorous ballroom with champagne getting popped off and all that. And then finally, I've got Childish Gambino with V3005, one of my more favorite pop artists of the last 10, 15 years or whatever. And yeah, I think this is just a really cool hip hop song. I love the way he raps. I love the way he kind of raps in and out of like his low register and then the high register. He sounds great when he does both. The rap's really cool. And his music is always this really cool kind of fusion of soul and funk and jazz and R&B, but like also still kind of his own the whole time. And he always has something to say with his lyrics. And he has some lyrics here that I probably can't repeat. So you have to look him up, but they're pretty damn good. He's a great wordsmith. There's no doubt about it. Like, everyone knows him pretty much for Redbone and for This Is America, but pretty much all of his deep cuts, really good, like poetry to it.
Okay, I guess that's my turn. Some good choices from you guys. Mine are mostly different, couple in common. Follow Your Arrow from Casey Musgraves. I think this is a very good subversive country song that's sung and arranged like a regular country song. So it kind of like got into country airplay and radio, despite its, not normal country message of just doing what you want, smoking weed, whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Follow Your Arrow. Number 4, I got Lady Gaga with her third single from Art Pop, GUI, Girl Under You. It's a filthy little sex jam from Lady Gaga. And it has so many purposefully bad double entendres that it's just great. It's a hoot. Number 3, I have Happy, just like Mr. Kramzer there. And I think because it was like everywhere, so ubiquitous, I think it sort of doesn't get the credit it should for being a really good, brilliant little pop tune. Love the chord progressions, love the vocals throughout. Just a really good song. It was on the Despicable Me soundtrack, so people, I think, wrote it off, but it's a good one. Number 2, with Jason, I got Style from Taylor Swift. It is just so good. Taylor basically operates however she wants, gets whatever producer she needs to make the sound. And on this one, it's not really country, but it's got enough like rock in it. And I really like the guitar, really good. Number 1, though, and hopefully Kramzer has this on his personal list, I got Ultraviolence from Lana Del Rey. Who knew that Lana and Dan was the combination that we needed? My favorite from either of them happened when they were together making this one, Dan Auerbach of the Black Keys. And I just think this is a brutal song, but so pretty. It's dreamy, and it has this like totally unsubtle punctuation by that double kick drum in the chorus when she's talking about ultraviolence. It's just like, oh, dang. That really drives it home. And I think it's a brilliant song from a really good album, Ultraviolence.
I don't want to spoil a Lana ranking, but can you come out right now that you're feeling it and say that's her best album?
Yes.
Jason's like, I don't
care. Time for my wild cards. 4 of them, saving the winner for later. First one I've got is Blake Mills with the song 7 from his Hi Ho album. Great song. Love the lyrics. Really good vocals. Kind of, I don't know. It's not really a duet because Fiona, I think, is singing in harmony most of the time, but Fiona Apple does make a nice guest appearance here. Great production. The way it swells with emotion and Blake's guitar just like building up and getting a little louder, and the tone just kind of opening up as he gets towards the climax of the song is really awesome. His playing is so good. His tone is so good as well. Then I'm going to go with Bleary-Eyed Blue from Margot and the Nuclear So-and-Sos. I love the skittering guitar and the keys that are layered underneath. It creates this really cool rhythmic push to the song. The melody is great. I love the way it kind of just really flows seamlessly between the verse into the chorus. And I love Richard Edwards' voice, and his lyrics are always really interesting. He's talking about like getting old here and not wanting to still be a punk when he's 42, and cool song. I like it. And then I've got I Prefer Your Love by St. Vincent. Great piece of songwriting. Love the simplicity of the production on this. It's just really uncluttered. There's a ton of space. Really puts Annie Clark's voice front and center. And I think that's a good thing because the lyrics are great. Her vocal delivery is great. I love the chord changes in the bridge section too. Just really cool choices of chords there. And then it came down to 2 for my winner, and it was a tough call. The runner-up is going to be Every Time the Sun Comes Up by Sharon Van Etten. She's just got an incredible voice. And again, like on the St. Vincent tune, she's just got like a ton of room to work with here. The arrangement's really open for her. I love that big, like, it's like a Phil Spector Wall of Sound drum beat, but it's like slowed down. It like really takes its time. It's super cool. I love the bass line too in the chorus. It's doing like this almost like counter melody thing to the vocals. The lyrics are great. Her voice is amazing. Just a really great song. So there you go. I'll save my winner for later. Interestingly, only one of my 5 wildcards this week is from an album in my top 5 albums, which is, I think, pretty rare. I think I usually get at least a couple.
Yeah. Man, yeah, I also struggled with my winner, and my barely runner-up is also Every Time the Sun Comes Up by Sharon Van Etten. It would have been cool if we both had it, but we were both doing a silver medal. So I saw her a few weeks ago at the Salt Shed in Chicago, and she did a version of that song, but it was kind of sped up and had like this disco beat that they had like kind of back looped through like a drum loop or whatever. And it was cool, but it wasn't the same. The beauty of that song is how dense everything is, like especially like that drum beat and everything, and the way the snare hits and just like, you know, puts like a bubble over your head and then evaporates. It's a gorgeous song, and she has that great line when she's like, "I shit in your bathroom" or whatever, like while she's trying to be romantic. It's just so awesome. So I've got that. I also have, it can't be 2014 without me talking about Lenny Kravitz and that killer album he put out. I've got, stop it. I've got Sex, and you can hate the album, but you can't hate the song Sex. It's fucking awesome. It's one of my favorite party bangers ever. I put it on every playlist I do. It's so cool. It's just like, it sound like Joe's hating on it, but if Prince did it, he'd be like, this is so good. It sounds like a Prince song. It's so funky, so upbeat, like everything's so tight. I love it. He kills it. And then I've also got a couple from Lana Del Rey's Ultraviolence. I've got Brooklyn Baby, where she's like so self-aware about how pretentious she is. She's talking about like how she's buying into, like, we were listening to the Strokes when it was cool and all of this stuff. And it's just got this really cool, like, my boyfriend's in a band and all this stuff. Like, it's just perfect imagery for everything Joe likes to make fun of. And then I've also got the leadoff track from Ultraviolence, Cruel World. The way that guitar comes in and just kind of bends and everything. It's so majestic, but kind of grimy and ugly at the same time. I think Cruel World is actually her best lyrical song of all time. Like, got your Bible, got your gun. You like to party and have fun. You know, get a little bit of bourbon in you, get a little bit suburban and go crazy. It's just, look at Joe. Yeah, he's loving it. It's so good. I absolutely love it. It's so sultry, sexy, down in the dumps, and just like this haze of just remembrance. It's so good. Those are my 4, and the wild card will win eventually.
Okay. My number 5, Champions of Red Wine from the New Pornographers. I just think it's a beautiful track. Love the layers of synth, the sound effects, the dynamite lead vocal from Nika Case. Number 4, Party Police from Always. Just has a great low kind of droning synth that really counterpoints the dreamy high vocals and lead guitar. And there's a point towards the end of the song where lead singer Molly Rankin hits this just high note on the word could that is just devastating. Such a good song. Number 3, I'm gonna do High Road from Mastodon. I think it's just the gnarliest riff of the year. So big, so heavy. He sounds like he's like stuck in a hole, just like screaming up at the world. Vocals are great. And number 2, I'll do Gemini from Death from Above, 1979. I love this album. It's so big and heavy. The bass and the drum playing is unbelievable. He's just doing this ridiculous like daredevil runs up and down the fretboard on this song. And the drums are so ferocious. It's 2 minutes and 25 seconds of pure adrenaline. And yeah, just a badass song from Death from Above, 1979.
Worst of the year. And as I mentioned in the video intro, there's a lot of bad songs. Considered a bunch of stuff. In the end, I'm going with the obvious one, but do have to shout out some others. Animals and Maps, both by Maroon 5, are just 2 of their worst songs, and they've got a lot of really bad songs, and those are bottom of the barrel. Fireball by Pitbull is super obnoxious. Selfie by the Chainsmokers, Centuries by Fall Out Boy. Ed Sheeran, he would get a lot worse, but he does already suck in 2014. But it's got to be Ooh by Jimmy Fallon, and Will I Am made it to number 26 this year on the charts, which is unbelievable. We've talked about it a lot in the March Madness series. It's one of the worst songs ever. Incredibly annoying, incredibly unfunny. Got to be my pick.
Okay, so I went a different route because we already talked about that in so many of our fucking episodes before. So I'm going with the worst song of 2014 that made the top 40. Stay With Me by Sam Smith, because it's a combination of like 3 fucking great songs. It's fucking I Won't Back Down by Tom Petty. It's Stand By Me by Benny King. It's so much shit that it's fucking pathetic how he got away with just running these fucking choruses and verses together. No one's calling him out on it at the time. I mean, he did have that lawsuit, I believe, with Tom Petty, but like people are like, oh, this is such a beautifully composed song. It's like, no, so many people have done this song already. I hate it.
All right, I didn't go ew either. I forgot. Well, I tried to wipe it from my mind completely, and I guess I just missed it. It's probably the worst song of the year. If it's a real song, I don't know. We already had this debate. I'm going to go with Magic's Rude as my worst favorite of this year. I hate this like stupid reggae island sound that popped up around this time. And it's just a dumb song. The lyrics are so lame. Why you got to be so rude? Like that's your response to asking a father to marry his daughter. Why you got to be so rude, man? Said no. Don't you know I'm human too? It blows, and it has the worst guitar solo I have ever heard. Ever, bar none, the worst.
Well, everyone out in YouTube land, this is hot on Joe's mind because Joe recently got engaged, and this is on his mind. Congratulations, Joe.
Thanks. Thank you, Kramzer. Spoiled the big reveal.
Was there going to be a big reveal? You still haven't got me a ring, baby.
All right, winners. I'm going with Seasons, Waiting on You by Future Islands as my song of the year. Just this big synth pop tune, but utterly unique vocals of Samuel T. Herring. The performance on Letterman, I'm sure everyone has seen, is just so cool, so intense. It's a great catchy song, but it I think ever so slightly defies what a pop song should be. It's got this really dark like bridge section that's super cool. And like I said, his vocals are so different and so unique, especially for this type of music. It's not sort of like the, I don't know, poppy, super melodic type of vocal delivery. It's a little more aggressive. His voice is really rich and really full, and I just love the tone of his voice. I think it's a great song. I think it's a great album. I think that album is really, really good. So there you go.
Did not see that coming. I like Future Islands a good bit. I've got a hat trick for Lana. My favorite song is my favorite song from Ultraviolence, and it is Sad Girl, a really big, epic ballad where she's like fallen in love with her sugar daddy and like he doesn't feel the same. And it's just got this big, epic chord. Like she's just so brutally honest in her self-deprecation. Like, he leaves money on the side, makes me a sad, sad girl. Like it's so, I have laryngitis, by the way. I can really rock that out usually. But yeah, it's just this big, it's got all these great like Auerbach's like production on this is tremendous. These great little bluesy guitar riffs going on throughout. Her vocal performance is tremendous. It is a tremendously written song. This is easily her best album. It's one of the best albums of all time. I don't care. Like, who is going to rip on me for that? It's one of the best albums of all time. It's so beautiful. And this song is just like this big punctuation about her just giving herself completely to someone and getting nothing in return. And it's done just so like, you know, like rotted gut kind of like emotion. It's tremendous. It sounds great. I love it. And this album just had like all the songs, including Sad Girl, have this perfect blend of like almost being radio pop, but not quite, especially with Dan Auerbach doing it. Like there's some rock and roll in there, just like a touch, just like underneath where it's like the perfect amount of salt in it. It's great.
Right. Well, it's good. I swear to God, if I don't win this year, I'm gonna lose my shit. My number one's gotta be Red Eyes. Yeah, we're on drugs. Kramzer, he's rocking some red eyes right now. Actually, they look pretty clear. Not bad. Use those drops. I just fell in love with this song when I heard it back in 2014. Indie rock finally, you know, being good for once. Pulling those sweet, sweet guitar tones from Mark Knopfler and that, you know, kind of driving acoustic and those big synths from like Bruce Springsteen. It's not like the most original composition, but the way, you know, he puts this together and that just like driving beat behind it was just so cool to me. I was like, wow, this is like something I can actually get into. And, you know, it's got those big staticky woos and it gets a little heavier and a little faster. And it like keeps building and building. And it's just like going towards this epic climax. And then it never really climaxes. Like it's a rolling wave that never crests. Like there's no denouement. It just keeps going and it never quite like climaxes. But I think that's sort of the charm to it. It doesn't have like some like fade off ripping guitar solo or anything. It just like keeps going and going. You just want to hit repeat over and over and just like get that sensation again. I think it's a brilliant track. Definitely my favorite from War on Drugs. Yeah, Red Eyes.
Joe's gonna win.
Maybe. I don't. I thought
We'll
I was
see.
gonna win the past couple of years, and I
Nah,
don't know what the hell the voters are doing. Killing
this is a
me.
slam dunk for you. Can I at least get your reaction to Sad Girl?
Oh, I love it. There's not a song on that album that I don't think is brilliant, really.
Well, The War on Drugs was my album of the year. Didn't get a track into my top 5. I don't know. Red Eyes has always been like, everyone loves it. It's one of my least favorite songs on that record. I almost put Suffering on my list, which is probably my favorite track. I love Under the Pressure too, the opening track on that record, but we'll see. This will be a tight race, I think. I think you got 3 good choices this week.
Also, I'm not stoned, so I made egg scramble this morning with jalapenos for my girlfriend, and I didn't wash my hands. And I put my contacts in, and my eye was red the entire day from not washing up. But now, looks pretty good.
All right, everybody. Make sure you check the website. You can go vote for which of our song of the year is your favorite. I did win last week. There was a point a day or two ago where Joe and I were tied, and then I took the last 4 votes home and pulled out the win with the Church's tune over whatever he had selected. I forget what his winner was.
Queens of the Stone Age, I Sat by the Ocean.
Right.
Fantastic song.
Make sure you follow the link in the video description. You can go vote. Make sure you follow all of the other links there as well. You can check out Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon if you're interested in supporting the channel. We have a merch store, all that stuff. Before you do that, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next week for 2015.